Welcome to Active Aging Tribe, where we're all about staying strong, vibrant, and independent, no matter your age. Whether you're in your 50s, 60s, or proudly living life in your 80s, this is your space to learn how to move better, feel better, and age with confidence. Today, we're diving into a topic that seems simple, but affects nearly every part of daily life as we get older: leg strength. More specifically, we're asking the question, could a vitamin deficiency be silently weakening your legs without you even knowing it? Now, a lot of people say, well, that's just part of getting old. Your legs give out. But here's the thing, we don't believe that has to be true. Getting older doesn't have to mean dealing with painful leg cramps at night, feeling unsteady on the stairs, or getting winded after just a short walk around the block. The truth is, with the right nutrients, your legs can stay strong, steady, and full of life even as you age. Don't fall into the trap of thinking vitamins are just general health boosters or that calcium alone will save your bones. The reality is, your body is far more complex and it needs more than just one or two building blocks. Without essential nutrients like vitamin K to direct calcium where it needs to go, vitamin B6 to keep your nerves firing smoothly, or potassium to balance your muscles' electrical activity, your legs can't perform the way they used to, no matter how much calcium you take. And before we go any further, I'd love for you to hit the like button, share this video with a friend or loved one, and make sure to subscribe to Active Aging Tribe so you never miss out on practical, science-based tips that can help you feel stronger and more capable with every passing year. Trust me, once you learn how these 7 essential vitamins and minerals work together, you'll be amazed at how your body responds. A steady, confident step isn't just about physical health. It's about freedom. It's about living life on your own terms with dignity and independence. So are you ready? Let's kick things off with the Sunshine Superstar Vitamin D. One vitamin D, the first step towards stronger, steadier legs. I don't know what's happening, doctor. My legs just feel weak. I can barely get up without wobbling, and walking across the room feels exhausting. I've heard this exact concern countless times over the past 3 decades working with older adults. People who once moved with strength and confidence now find their legs shaky, unstable, and unpredictable. And more often than not, the root of the problem isn't age or worn-out joints. It's something far more subtle and widely overlooked: a lack of vitamin D. We often think of vitamin D as the sunshine vitamin helpful for bone health, but its role in the body goes far beyond that. Vitamin D directly impacts muscle strength, balance coordination, and even how quickly your legs respond to sudden movements, like when you trip or need to regain your footing. Simply put, without enough vitamin D, your legs can't function the way they're supposed to. One of the lesser-known but crucial roles of vitamin D is maintaining fast-twitch muscle fibers. These are the fibers responsible for quick reactions and reflexes. They're what help you catch yourself when you stumble or move quickly to prevent a fall. Unfortunately, these fibers are the first to deteriorate when your vitamin D levels drop. What's more, vitamin D helps keep communication between your brain and muscles clear and efficient, supporting fast, accurate movement. It also reduces chronic muscle inflammation, which means fewer aches, fewer nighttime cramps, and less of that heavy sore for no reason feeling in your legs. One patient who sticks in my mind is Mrs. Min, a 73-year-old retired PE teacher. After retirement, she became increasingly fearful of falling and barely left the house. Just stepping down the front porch made her knees tremble. She even had a scary slip in the bathroom because her legs couldn't keep up with her balance. When we ran a routine blood test, her vitamin D level was critically low, just under 12 ng/ml, while optimal levels are at least 30. I started her on a supplement of 1,000 IU of vitamin D3, daily encouraged her to get 20 minutes of morning sunlight a day, and recommended some light movement exercises. Within 3 months, her transformation was remarkable. At her next visit, she clasped my hand and said with a smile, "Doctor, I've started walking to the market again. My legs feel like they've been recharged," and Mrs. Min's story isn't unique. Many older adults lose mobility simply because their bodies aren't getting this one essential nutrient. After age 60, our skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. Combine that with limited outdoor activity concerns about skin cancer and the frequent use of sunscreen, and you've got a recipe for widespread deficiency, often without any obvious signs until the damage is done. So how do you make sure you're getting enough vitamin D? The best approach is a combination of three sources: sunlight, food, and supplements. Just 15 to around 30 minutes of sun exposure to your arms, legs, or face in the morning or late afternoon can give your body a solid boost. Vitamin D-rich foods like salmon mackerel, egg yolks, mushrooms, especially those exposed to sunlight. Fortified milk and cereals can help too. However, for many older adults, diet and sun alone aren't enough. That's why most experts recommend a supplement of 800 1,000 IU daily and more if your doctor determines you're deficient. It's also important to know that vitamin D works best when paired with vitamin K2. K2 helps ensure that the calcium your body absorbs goes to your bones, not your arteries. Without this direction, calcium can build up where you don't want it, increasing the risk of hardened arteries or kidney stones. That's why a smart vitamin D supplement often includes K2 or is taken alongside it. Lastly, don't guess when it comes to your levels. A simple blood test, specifically a 25-hydroxy vitamin D test, can tell you exactly where you stand. If you've been dealing with muscle weakness, frequent cramps, fatigue, or poor sleep, you owe it to yourself to get checked. The bottom line is this: your legs aren't just made of muscle and bone. They rely on a finely tuned network of nerves, hormones, and nutrients working in sync. And vitamin D is like the oil in that engine. It keeps everything moving smoothly. If you want to walk with confidence, prevent falls, and stay independent for years to come, start with vitamin D. Because strong legs aren't just about movement. They're about freedom, dignity, and the ability to keep going on your terms. Caregivers, the foundation of strong bones and stable legs. As we age, the first part of the body to truly begin breaking down isn't always the heart or the lungs. It's often the legs. And one of the most overlooked but dangerous reasons for this decline is a silent deficiency in calcium. It's a mineral most of us have heard of, yet it's often misunderstood, underestimated, or simply not taken seriously enough until it's too late. I once treated a man named Mr. Tam, 78 years old. His family brought him to the hospital after he took a minor fall in his front yard. It wasn't anything dramatic, just a small misstep. But that fall caused a fracture in his hip, a serious injury in older adults that often leads to long-term immobility and, in many cases, permanent loss of independence. When we tested his bone density, the results showed severe osteoporosis. The cause, long-term calcium deficiency that had gone completely unnoticed. So why is calcium so essential? First, you have to understand that your bones are not fixed structures. They're constantly being broken down and rebuilt in a process known as bone remodeling. In younger people, new bone is built faster than old bone is broken down. But after the age of 50, especially for women after menopause, that balance shifts. Bone breakdown begins to outpace bone formation, and without enough calcium to support rebuilding, bones become thin, brittle, and prone to fractures. And the worst part, this deterioration usually happens quietly with no pain or warning signs until something breaks. But calcium doesn't just help strengthen bones, it's also vital for muscle contraction. Every time you take a step, rise from a chair, or even stand still, calcium ions are helping your muscles contract properly and maintain control. Without enough calcium, you may start experiencing leg cramps overall, weakness, slower movement, or less stamina during daily activities. That feeling of your legs tiring out more quickly, calcium could be playing a role. So how do you make sure you're getting enough? In my practice, I always emphasize that the best source of calcium is food, not pills. While dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese are great, they're not the only options. Some of the best calcium-rich foods include dark leafy greens like spinach, bok choy, and kale, fortified plant-based milks and cereals, almonds and tofu, small fish you eat with the bones like sardines and anchovies. That said, for many older adults, especially those with digestive issues or who avoid dairy diet alone, may not cut it. In those cases, calcium supplements are often necessary, with a recommended intake of 1,000 to 1,200 mg per day, ideally split into 2 doses with meals for better absorption. But here's a critical point. Calcium needs vitamin D to work properly. Without vitamin D, your body can't absorb calcium efficiently, and most of it just passes through your system unused. That's why I always recommend pairing calcium with a daily vitamin D supplement, especially for those who get limited sun exposure. However, more isn't always better. Too much calcium, especially from supplements without proper physical activity, can build up in the wrong places, like arteries, kidneys, or soft tissue. This can lead to kidney stones, vascular calcification, or joint stiffness. That's why Kangxi should never be taken in isolation. Movement is key. When you engage in regular weight-bearing exercises like walking light strength training, or even chair yoga, your body uses that Kangxi where it's needed most in the bones that carry your weight, like your hips, thighs, and spine. Here's something I tell all my patients. Kangxi deficiency doesn't cause pain right away. It creeps up slowly, weakening you over time, until one day a small fall becomes a big fracture. And standing up again isn't so simple. From that moment, everything can change. You lose muscle mass, independence, confidence, and eventually, quality of life. Don't let it get to that point. Don't wait until something breaks to start caring about your bones. If you've been moving slower lately, having trouble sitting down or standing up, or waking up at night with leg cramps, take that as your body's quiet way of saying, I need help. And often what it's asking for is more Kangxi 3. Vitamin B12, supporting nerve health and keeping your legs steady. Here's something many people, even those who are pretty health savvy, don't always realize. Strong legs aren't just about muscles and bones. They also depend heavily on a sharp, responsive nervous system, because even if you're getting plenty of exercise and calcium, your legs won't move properly if the nerves can't send signals from your brain to your muscles. And that's exactly where vitamin B12 steps in. Also known as cobalamin, vitamin B12 plays a critical role in maintaining the protective myelin sheath that wraps around your nerves. Think of it like the insulation on an electrical wire. When B12 levels are too low, that insulation starts to wear down. As a result, nerve signals slow misfire or even fail to reach their destination. This can lead to legs that feel heavy, clumsy, tingly, or like they're just not cooperating with the rest of your body. I remember a patient of mine, Mrs. Tui, 81 years old, who came into the clinic with a staggering, unsteady walk. Her family thought she might have had a small stroke or severe arthritis. But when I examined her and ran some basic labs, the real cause surprised everyone. She had a severe B12 deficiency with levels down to just 110 pg/ml. For reference, anything below 200 is considered low. We started her on B12 supplementation, both oral and by injection, and added physical therapy to help restore her strength and coordination. Within a few weeks, she returned with a smile and told me, "Doctor, I'm cooking for my grandkids again. I didn't think I'd ever feel this steady on my feet. It was an incredible transformation and a reminder of how powerful this one nutrient can be." The truth is, B12 deficiency is extremely common in older adults, and it often flies under the radar. Unlike fat-soluble vitamins, B12 needs a well-functioning digestive system to be absorbed. Your stomach must produce enough acid and a special protein called intrinsic factor to pull B12 out of food and transport it into the bloodstream. But as we get older, stomach acid levels tend to drop, and many seniors take acid-reducing medications that further impair absorption. Add a diet low in animal products, and it's easy to see why so many older adults are running on empty without knowing it. Left untreated, a B12 deficiency can cause permanent nerve damage. It affects not just balance and coordination, but also your ability to walk smoothly and confidently. I've seen far too many seniors give up walking altogether, not because of age or arthritis, but because their nerves simply weren't getting the B12 they needed to function. So where can you get B12? The best sources are animal-based foods including beef or chicken liver, shellfish like clams and oysters, fatty fish such as tuna and salmon, eggs, milk, and red meat. For people who are vegan, vegetarian, or have trouble absorbing nutrients, due to digestive issues, supplements are usually necessary. Depending on the severity of the deficiency, this may mean a daily oral supplement or, in more serious cases, regular B12 injections. The good news, B12 is very safe even at high doses. Your body simply flushes out what it doesn't need through urine. Still, it's important to get your levels checked regularly, especially if you're experiencing tingling in your feet or hands, loss of balance, or just a sense that your legs aren't responding the way they used to. A simple blood test can reveal whether your symptoms are tied to a deficiency, and if they are, the solution is often quick and effective. Bottom line, if your legs feel weak or uncoordinated, don't assume it's just aging or joint problems. Sometimes your nervous system is calling for help, and in many cases, vitamin B12 is the missing link. It's the key to restoring clear communication between your brain and your muscles so your legs can respond when you need them to, and you can keep moving with confidence and control. 4. Magnesium, your secret weapon against leg cramps and fatigue. There's something that happens to a lot of older adults at night, and it's more common than you might think. Sudden, painful leg cramps, usually in the calf, waking them up in the middle of the night. The pain can be so sharp it forces them to sit up, rub their leg for minutes just to get relief, and sometimes keeps them awake long after. Unfortunately, many people chalk this up to just getting older and resign themselves to living with it. But from a medical standpoint, these cramps are often a clear sign of magnesium deficiency, a mineral that plays a critical role in muscle and nerve health. Think of magnesium as the silent conductor in your body's symphony of movement. Every step you take, every time you flex or stretch your legs, even just standing still, magnesium is behind the scenes, making sure your muscles contract and relax smoothly. When your body doesn't have enough, the electrical signals that control muscle movement become erratic. The result, painful, involuntary contractions we know as leg cramps. One of my patients, Mr. Leem, a 74-year-old retired civil engineer, came to me after months of poor sleep due to these nightly cramps. He had tried everything: calcium supplements, heating pads, muscle rubs, but nothing worked. A simple blood test revealed the problem: a mild magnesium deficiency with his blood level at just 15 atm. The normal range starts at about 17. I prescribed a daily magnesium supplement, specifically magnesium citrate and glycinate, two of the most absorbable forms, and adjusted his diet to include more magnesium-rich foods. Just 2 weeks later, he came back to my office smiling and said, "Doctor, I finally slept through the night without cramping. I thought I was going to have to live with this forever." But magnesium does more than just prevent leg cramps. It also helps reduce muscle tension, increase endurance, and boost energy levels, especially important after any kind of physical activity. A lot of older adults think they're losing strength simply because of age, but often it's their body crying out for nutrients to support recovery. Once magnesium levels are restored, people often notice they can walk farther, climb stairs more easily, and feel less heavy or sluggish in their legs. There's more magnesium also plays a key role in bone health. While calcium gets most of the attention for building strong bones, magnesium helps direct that calcium into the bones where it belongs, instead of letting it accumulate in places it shouldn't, like arteries or soft tissues. Without enough magnesium, calcium can build up in the wrong places, leading to kidney stones, joint stiffness, or arterial calcification, while your bones remain weak. That's why supplementing with calcium without magnesium is a common and often harmful mistake, especially in older adults. So why is magnesium deficiency so widespread? The modern diet is often lacking in magnesium-rich foods. At the same time, many medications that older adults take, such as diuretics, water pills, acid reducers, PPIs, and certain blood pressure medications, deplete magnesium levels over time. On top of that, chronic stress, which is common in seniors who live alone or care for sick loved ones, can further drain the body's magnesium reserves. You can get magnesium naturally from a variety of foods, including leafy greens like spinach and kale nuts, and seeds like pumpkin seeds, almonds, and cashews, legumes such as black beans, soybeans, and lentils, avocados, bananas, and dark chocolate. Still, food alone often isn't enough. Many of my patients require magnesium supplements, and I typically recommend magnesium citrate or glycinate. Both are easy on the stomach and well absorbed. Most people do well on doses between 200–400 milligrams per day, depending on their individual needs. But here's a word of caution. If you have kidney disease or are on medications that interact with magnesium, don't supplement without speaking to your doctor first. To sum it up, if you're dealing with nighttime leg cramps, quick fatigue in your legs, muscle twitching, or that heavy, stiff leg feeling, when you first stand up, don't ignore it. Magnesium might be the missing piece. It's a vital part of keeping your legs moving freely, gracefully, and without pain. Because strong legs aren't just about muscle. They're about rhythm, coordination, and flow. And magnesium is what keeps that rhythm smooth with every step you take. 5. Potassium keeping your muscles in rhythm and your legs strong. Imagine this: you wake up in the morning, swing your legs over the side of the bed, and just as you're about to stand, a sharp cramp hits your calf. The pain stops you in your tracks. You wince, you grab your leg, and all you can do is wait it out. If this has ever happened to you, you're not alone, and there's a good chance your body's trying to tell you something. You might be low on potassium. Potassium is an essential mineral that plays a huge role in how your muscles and nerves function. It helps your heart maintain a steady beat. Yes, but it's just as crucial for regulating the communication between nerve cells and muscle fibers, especially in your legs. Think of it as your body's natural electrolyte stabilizer. When your potassium levels dip too low, the balance between your muscles and nerves gets thrown off, and that's when you experience painful cramps, trembling, or unexpected weakness. I once treated a patient named Ms. Hoa, a 69-year-old woman living alone with a history of high blood pressure. She often woke up with early morning cramps and said her legs felt shaky whenever she stood for long periods. Sometimes after sitting too long, she felt like her legs just wouldn't lift. After some routine tests, we discovered she had a mild potassium deficiency, largely caused by the diuretics. She was taking a very common issue in older adults. With a few dietary adjustments and a focus on potassium-rich foods, her symptoms improved dramatically. She later told me, "I used to feel like something was holding my legs down. Now I feel free again." Unlike calcium or magnesium, your body can't store potassium for long periods. You lose small amounts every day through sweat, urine, and normal body functions, which makes maintaining stable potassium levels especially important for older adults, especially those on medications or with limited diets. But here's something many people don't know. Potassium also protects your bones. It helps neutralize acid in the body, especially the kind that builds up from diets high in red meat, sugar, and processed carbs. When the body becomes too acidic, it starts pulling calcium out of your bones to restore balance, which contributes to bone loss over time. By getting enough potassium, you reduce this strain and support long-term bone strength, a crucial factor in keeping your legs healthy and stable as you age. So how can you get more potassium? The good news is you don't need supplements unless there's a medical reason. Potassium is found in plenty of everyday foods, including bananas, sweet potatoes and regular potatoes with the skin, avocados, spinach and other leafy greens, black beans, white beans, oranges, and orange juice. And here's a surprise: bananas aren't even the richest source. A baked potato with skin actually contains twice as much potassium as a medium banana. However, if you have kidney disease, it's important to be cautious. Your kidneys are responsible for filtering out excess potassium. If they are not functioning properly, potassium can build up in the blood, which could lead to dangerous heart rhythm problems. That's why potassium, whether from food or supplements, should always be managed under medical supervision if you have any kidney issues or are taking medications like blood pressure pills or diuretics. What surprises many of my patients is how much better they feel when their potassium levels are where they should be. They move more freely, they sleep better, and many tell me they feel more alive in their legs, lighter, more responsive, and less afraid of falling. In the end, strong, stable legs aren't just about bone and muscle. They rely on a well-tuned electrical system that keeps everything moving in harmony. And potassium is the quiet conductor, making sure the rhythm stays smooth with every step you take. So if you've been struggling with cramps, tremors, or fatigue in your legs, don't brush it off as just getting older. It might just be a potassium problem, and it's one you can absolutely fix. Cramps 6 Vitamin K, the calcium traffic controller. Your bones and joints need. We hear a lot about vitamin D and calcium when it comes to bone health, and for good reason. But there's another player in this story that doesn't get nearly the attention it deserves: vitamin K. And believe me, without it all, that calcium and vitamin D might not be doing what you think they are. I often tell my patients to think of vitamin K as your body's calcium traffic controller. When you take calcium, your body has to know where to send it. Ideally, it should go to your bones and teeth, where it builds strength. But without enough vitamin K, calcium can end up in the wrong places, like your arteries, kidneys, or soft tissues. That's when calcium becomes a problem, not a solution. It can lead to things like arterial calcification, kidney stones, or even joint pain from calcium buildup in the wrong areas. Vitamin K comes in two major forms: K1 and K2. Vitamin K1 is found mostly in dark leafy greens like spinach, kale, collard greens, and broccoli. Vitamin K2 is found in fermented foods like natto, a traditional Japanese soybean dish, aged cheeses, egg yolks, and liver. While K1 mainly supports healthy blood clotting and vessel protection, K2 is the real hero for your bones. It activates a protein called osteocalcin, which helps bind calcium directly into your bones like mortar holding bricks together. Without K2, even if you're getting enough calcium and vitamin D, your bones may not be absorbing that calcium efficiently. Let me share a real story. One of my patients, Mr. Pooh, 76, was extremely diligent about taking calcium and vitamin D every day because his family told him it would protect his bones. But after a year, he still had knee stiffness, morning joint pain, and even tingling in his feet. When I asked about his diet, it turned out he rarely ate greens and had never even heard of vitamin K. We introduced a daily K2 supplement, specifically MK7, a highly bioavailable form, along with a more balanced diet, including leafy greens and healthy fats. 3 months later, the changes were striking. His knees moved more freely, his morning joint lock disappeared, and his bone density scans showed that his bone loss had significantly slowed down. Here's something I emphasize a lot. Vitamin K works best when paired with vitamin D3 and calcium. It's a trio that supports bone health from all angles. Vitamin D3 helps absorb calcium from your intestines into your bloodstream. Calcium provides the raw material to build and maintain bone. Vitamin K2 ensures that calcium gets delivered to your bones and stays out of places it shouldn't go. But before you rush to the supplement aisle, here's an important warning. If you're taking blood thinners like warfarin, talk to your doctor before adding more vitamin K. Since vitamin K affects blood clotting, your intake should be consistent, not too much, not too little to ensure your medication stays effective. In those cases, maintaining a steady amount of vitamin K from food is usually safer than jumping into supplements. For most older adults, I recommend aiming for a balanced, nutrient-dense diet, rich in leafy greens like spinach, chard, broccoli, and even sautéed mustard greens. For those who don't eat a lot of veggies or who have absorption issues, a K2 supplement, especially MK7, which stays in the body longer and works more efficiently, may be a smart option again with a doctor's guidance. To wrap it up, vitamin K may not give you immediate results like magnesium or potassium, but it plays a vital long-term role in how your bones grow, maintain density, and stay strong and flexible. It's one of those silent essentials that works behind the scenes to keep your legs strong and your joints moving smoothly. So don't overlook it. Sometimes the difference between a shaky step and a confident stride comes down to the smallest things, like making sure your calcium actually knows where to go. And vitamin K is what makes that happen. 7. Vitamin B6, supporting nerve function, reducing fatigue and keeping your legs strong. Over the years, I've heard a similar story from many of my older patients. They sit down in my office and say something like, "Doctor, I only walked a few steps, but my legs felt heavy like someone drained the energy right out of them." And the truth is, more often than not, it's not just aging. It's something more specific, more preventable, a silent deficiency in vitamin B6. Vitamin B6, also known as pyridoxine, is one of the most underrated nutrients when it comes to energy, nerve health, and muscle function. It plays a vital role in hundreds of biological processes, including protein metabolism, red blood cell production, and nervous system regulation. When it comes to your legs, vitamin B6 helps ensure that signals from your brain reach your muscles quickly, clearly, and accurately. Without enough B6, you may start noticing symptoms like tingling or numbness in your feet and toes, weakness or delayed reactions in your legs, fatigue especially after light activity, trouble maintaining balance. One of B6's most important jobs is helping your body produce red blood cells which carry oxygen from your lungs to your muscles. If your B6 levels are low, your muscles can't get the oxygen they need to perform, which leads to early fatigue, that heavy legs feeling, and reduced endurance, especially when walking, climbing stairs, or standing for long periods. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, Kim, 67 years old. She came in complaining of numbness in both feet, feeling unsteady on her walks and getting tired after only 5 to 10 minutes of walking. For years, she thought she had spinal degeneration or poor circulation, but when we ran tests, it turned out her vitamin B6 levels were very low. The likely culprits, a limited diet low in protein and a history of tuberculosis. Treatment: certain medications used for TB can significantly deplete B6 in the body. After just 2 months of low-dose B6 supplementation and a few simple dietary changes, Kim's symptoms improved dramatically. She was walking farther, no longer feeling numb, and had more energy than she'd had in years. So where can you get vitamin B6? Thankfully, it's found in a wide variety of everyday foods, including chicken, salmon, and tuna potatoes, bananas and squash, chickpeas and lentils, whole grains and oats, eggs and dairy products. But here's the thing, as we age, our ability to absorb B6 decreases. And to make matters worse, certain medications like TB drugs, some anti-seizure meds and diuretics can lower B6 levels even further. For older adults dealing with malnutrition, digestive issues, or chronic illnesses, supplements may be necessary. The recommended daily intake is 15 milliliters for women and 17 milliliters for men over age 50. In some medical cases, higher doses are needed, but only under a doctor's supervision. It's important to note that taking too much B6, typically more than 100 milliliters per day for long periods, can actually cause nerve damage, which is exactly what we're trying to prevent. So stick to the recommended dosage and, when possible, prioritize real food over high-dose supplements. Here's the bottom line. Strong legs aren't just about muscle and bone. They depend on reliable nerve signals to move the way you want, when you want. If your muscles are the engine, your nerves are the control system, and vitamin B6 is the fuel that keeps that system running smoothly. So if you've been struggling with leg fatigue, unsteadiness, or strange tingling sensations, don't ignore them. These symptoms might not be a sign of aging. They could be your body's way of asking for more B6. And with the right approach, that's something you can fix. Conclusion: stronger legs. Stronger life, it starts with the right nutrients. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this conversation, it's this: getting older doesn't mean giving up your strength, especially the strength in your legs. You don't have to accept leg cramps, fatigue, or instability as part of aging. You don't have to live in fear of falls or feel like your body is slowly slipping away from you. Because the truth is, your body still wants to work for you. It just needs the right support. Over the years, I've seen far too many older adults lose their independence, not because of some dramatic injury or chronic disease, but because of a silent, preventable decline in the very nutrients their legs need to stay strong, steady, and responsive. That's what this video has been all about, these 7 vitamins and minerals. Vitamin D, K, vitamin B12, magnesium, potassium. Vitamin K and vitamin B6 aren't just names on a supplement bottle. They're the fuel, the signals, the protectors of your movement and balance. And together they form a powerful toolkit for living better longer. The good news: it's never too late to start. Whether you're 55 or 85, the body's incredibly responsive to the right care. You can begin by adding more leafy greens, healthy proteins, sunlight, and movement into your day. You can talk to your doctor about checking for deficiencies. You can make small changes that lead to big improvements: better sleep, less pain, more confidence when you walk, and yes, even the joy of doing the things you thought you'd left behind. I want you to remember this: strong legs don't just help you move, they help you live. They help you keep up with your grandkids, climb the stairs with confidence, go for morning walks, and stay active in the life you love. They are your foundation, and you have more control over that foundation than you might think. So if you found value in this message, if it made you think, gave you hope, or helped you see your health in a new light, please share it with someone you care about. Let's help more people realize that aging well is not about luck. It's about knowledge and action. And finally, from all of us here at Active Aging Tribe, keep moving, keep learning, and never stop believing in your ability to grow stronger, no matter your age.